everybody, and welcome to our pre-show for Water Lantern 2020. I'm Jane Moen, Executive Director for A Little Compassion, and I'm here with Kristen Olson, the Vice Chair of the A Little Compassion Board of Directors. Kristen will also be introducing all of our talented performers this evening for the entire event. For those of you who tuned in early, we are excited that you joined us because we really have some exciting, talented young adults we want you to meet, as well as a few interviews with some very interesting people. Folks have already been dropping off their lanterns since 5 p.m., and they're gorgeous. It'll be a beautiful evening, lighting the way for people of all abilities. The live stream launch will be starting at 6:30. But for now, welcome to our pre-show. I'm going to turn it over to Kristen now to introduce you to our very first performer.
Thank you so much, Jane, and good evening, everyone. I am so pleased and honored to have the privilege of introducing our many artists and performers this evening. Catherine Molly is a 19-year-old singer-songwriter from Chester. She's been performing for a little over a year. Catherine has sung at the Nest before and at last year's Water Lantern celebration. Tonight, she's honored to be back with us this year, performing a song entitled Ooh La La.
Hi, I'm Catherine Molly. This is a song I wrote called Ooh La La. His eyes were midnight blue, his smile like heaven. Had to look from a distance, thinking, oh damn it, I wish you were mine. Will the stars ever align? Hope you don't break my heart, for it even starts with my imagination wild. Ooh la la. I wanna love that makes me start singing like la la la. 'Cause I'm so in love that my head starts spinning just thinking about you. I wanna love like, ooh la la.
Catherine is amazing, isn't she? Marina Capizone is joining us now. We sat down recently for a chat. Marina is a shift lead at the Nest, as well as a full-time college student majoring in creative writing at CCSU. Marina has a big heart that's full of compassion. She leads a number of Nest gatherings and jumps in to provide support or encouragement to staff at the Nest when she's at the shop. Her enthusiasm is contagious, and her kindness is unmatched by few. So let's meet Marina.
Hello, my name is Marina and I work at the Nest Coffee Shop.
How long have you worked at the Nest Coffee Shop?
A little over a year.
Okay, and what is your role when you're at the Nest?
Well, I am a lead, and what that essentially means is it's a manager-like position. I oversee the baristas and make sure that they're doing their tasks to the best of their ability, and make sure that if they're struggling, that I help them out with that. And I make sure all the customers are cool too.
I've heard that working at the nest can also be fun?
Oh, absolutely. We try to make it as fun as possible. In fact, I think the best method of getting my baristas to feel comfortable is using humor and making it a more fun experience. Because I know in any workplace it can feel like, oh, I have to do this. It's such a chore. But like if you make it humorous, it kind of makes it a little less daunting. I think our whole mission is to create a place that is kind and compassionate, that is a nice stepping stone for young adults on the spectrum or whatever, to kind of dip their toes into employment in the workplace. Yes.
So you seem to be a bit of a natural at providing support and the right environment for these young adults, and I know you have a personal connection. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I have a brother named Max. He's on the spectrum a little more severely. He's not nonverbal, but he does struggle with vocabulary, I suppose, and loves chocolate chip cookies. And I think having grown up with him and his needs and being kind of the go-to babysitter in the family for him, because his needs were so particular, I kind of got an early introduction to what I can expect here, or just in the real world in general, when it comes to anybody who is on the spectrum or deals with anxiety and depression. And of course, because of that, I feel like I've become friends with people on the spectrum as well. They're all wonderful, and I wouldn't change them for the world. So,
And when you're not working at the nest, what else are you doing for fun?
well, I'm going to college to become a writer, hopefully for video games. So for fun, I do a lot of writing story-based games like Dungeons and Dragons, which is rather nerdy, but I enjoy it, and so do my friends. But I also I do a writer's workshop here at the Nest. What we do there is essentially look over everybody's pieces and see what's awesome about them and what we can do to make them even more awesome. And that's always really fun. And like everybody who submits to the writer's workshop always astounds me with their talent. It's awesome. But when I'm not doing that, I'm usually singing around my apartment and annoying my roommate.
Okay, one last thing. If you could choose a word or a phrase that would best describe the Nest to other people who maybe haven't come through our doors, what would those words or be?
A kind and compassionate place for young adults to learn their potential.
Perfect.
I think. That's a phrase.
Thank you so much. I know the Nest is the kind, compassionate, soft place to land it is because of employees like you. So thank you, Marina.
Stop it. Thank you.
Marina is genuinely one of the nicest people I have ever had the pleasure to meet. Our next performers are a country-inspired singer-songwriter duo. Sophia Mali and Grace Cuccia hail from Bethlehem and Chester, Connecticut. A love of music that started as a common hobby quickly became a dream come true for these two. Sophia and Gracie want to thank our Nest Coffee House in Deep River, where they've played at several open mic nights, and they were among our featured artists at last year's Water Lantern celebration also. Tonight they're going to be performing a song entitled Write Me a Song.
All right, hi guys, I'm Grace. I'm Sophia. And we are Sophia and Grace. Okay, so this is an original song we wrote. It's called Write Me a Song. And it's kind of a sing-along, and I could use your help. Can you guys help me? All right, cool. So I'm going to sing something, and I want you to repeat it back to me. Ready? What about na na? na, 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 na. Now ooh, 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 ooh. Do it again. Na, 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 na. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, good job. I'll point to you guys when it's your turn. Sometimes it feels like nobody understands me. Like I'm alone this life, and I don't get why. Sometimes it feels just a little bit lonely. I turn the radio on, listen to that country song, and it's the same 5 songs written 10 different ways by the same 3 guys with the same exact face. And it ain't my words that they are singing. Wish someone would write the way I'm feeling. Write me a song and make me feel like I belong, like I'm not alone. Even when my heart is broken, make me feel strong. Like nerds, it ain't that far, and write me a song. Can it go like na na na? Hey, hey, what about ooh, ooh, ooh? Good job. It's like as I am, like a rose in your diamond. Don't get why. Sometimes it feels like rivers of joy, a princess fairy tale until I close the book. Whenever someone's getting married, someone's getting divorced, someone's cheating, someone's dying, someone's losing hope, and I hear it on the radio, I'm singing along. I wish someone would write me a true love song. Write me a song, make me feel like I belong, like I'm not alone. Even when my heart is broken, make me feel strong. Like paradise, it ain't that far, and write me a song. And it goes like na na na. Hey, hey, what about ooh, ooh? Is it you, or you, or you, or you, somebody, or you? Write me a song. One love with a walk in the park. I'll tell each other better. One love where you hold my hand, ain't afraid to cry. Is it you, or you, or you, or you, somebody? One love where you write me a song and write me a song. Write me a song. Oh, write me a song. So write me a song. Oh, write me a song. Write me a song. Make me feel like I belong, like I'm not alone. Even when my heart is broken, make me feel strong. Like paradise, it ain't that far, and write me a song. And it goes like na na na. Hey, hey, what about ooh, ooh? Does it go like na na na? Hey, hey, what about ooh, ooh? Ain't afraid to cry. Does it go like na na na? Hey, hey, what about ooh, ooh? Write me a song and break up again. Write me a song. Oh, write me a song. Does it go like na na na? Think it went like ooh, oh.
Give it up for Sophia and Grace. Oh, we gotta love that.
Sophia and Grace always bring a smile to my face. Gil Italian joins us next. Gil has been very busy during COVID as an epidemiologist and Senior Vice President of Global Health Economics and Outcomes Research at Biohaven Pharmaceuticals. Gil also has a personal connection to ALC's mission and has been a dedicated supporter of the Nest and A Little Compassion. His expertise has guided the Nest as we've traveled this COVID road with a focus on keeping our community safe and healthy through these tough times. Here's Gil. Hi, Gil. It's good to see you today.
Good to see you.
And thank you for joining us. You've been a devoted fan of the Nest since right about when we opened, and are one of our sponsors for this year's Water Lantern. So we're really proud to have you here to join us today.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to help out.
Well, to start off, can you tell us what it is about the Nest and our mission with a little compassion that resonated with you?
Yeah, so there is some autism in my family. I won't go into specifics as to who, but there is a family member, and I happened to be walking just down Main Street, and I saw, your sign for the Nest, and walked in. What I think you and I had spoken about your mission. We met in another place where Marjorie was there,
Yep.
and you had mentioned what you were doing, and then I made the connection when I saw the sign. But I really liked, essentially the sign that you had talked about some of the things that you're dedicated to, and disabilities, and autism is one, and that made the connection with my family. So I wanted to find out more, and we talked a little bit that day. And you talked about how you set up the Nest and the help you got from a variety of people. And I like impactful, the size of a charity, in my opinion, doesn't really matter as much as how impactful it is for the people they help. And that's what impressed me about what you're doing at A Little Compassion, because you're helping these young people, in a tangible way. And you're helping them to be productive and independent. And you're partnering them with, the other great thing about this is you're partnering them with young people of their own age, so that they kind of pick up some of these skills, and then I think like that aspect of it, and essentially the very organized way in which you put together the Nest and the other activities like the Water Lantern events, just showed that you're really seriously committed to helping these young people. When we co-sponsored with my company Biohaven the 4 and the 4th, the virtual race, one of your young people, she was holding up the. Can I give her name? Emma. So Emma had the photo of the T-shirt that we had that showed the sponsorship, and it was just that was even virtual. It was a great way for me to pull in a lot of my colleagues at Biohaven who were very excited to be part of this and understood about your mission. And it just it's like making the best of what we're dealing with, which is a tough situation with COVID. But your young people are really thriving, and that's a beautiful thing to see. So you've been able to keep things going even in the midst of this. And to do that with a challenge like this, I think is quite. It speaks to how serious you are, and it's not just you, Jane. It's also all the people that connect your board, and this. I call them, this group of angels really that helps out, and because you can do as a team with what you can't do individually.
How have you seen the Nest and your work and all just from the impacts of COVID, kind of in all of our daily lives?
Yes. So, I think we're all having to deal with it, and we've found ways to deal with it. We know a lot more than we did in the winter to stay safe and to protect ourselves. What was impressed to me about the Nest was, the way you implemented those safeguards right away, with the goal of keeping your young people still active. And there is a way to do that, and just social distancing and the mask wearing, and the team, your kids, they're not afraid to enforce those restrictions and to tell people, hey, you're not wearing the mask properly, or could you please separate? Because I think that shows that they're conscientious about the safety issue, and I think it is a credit to your organization and to the young people to say, look, we're going to find a way to keep going even in the midst of this, and learn from it. And when I walk in there, I get that sense that there's okay, we got this thing that we have to deal with, but we're going to handle it and we're going to keep going. And in my opinion, your mission, and when you look at the water lantern celebration as well, your mission is everybody's sort of blindsided a little bit, but you're able to carry on and continue to help these young people, which is really important.
I think I keep hearing the word pivot.
Pivot,
We have to
yeah.
keep pivoting.
Yeah.
So I think we've pivoted in a couple circles already, but
Yeah.
they always bring us back
Yes,
to our
yes.
mission. Is there anything else about the nest and a little compassion, any of your experiences that you want to share before we sign off?
Yeah, well, I think, I like, I do like, when we talk, we always say, whether it's COVID or other things, we always talk about, what's down the road in the future. And I think given the solid way that you've put together a little compassion and grown it in a very smart way, but in a very deliberate way, I think the future is bright. And the world, I'm an optimist, but I'm also, because I am a scientist, I know I have optimism about the future, and I think the world is going to open up again. And I think when it does so, you really haven't lost a beat, and you're going to be ready to engage even more, because think of how great the water lantern celebration was last year, where everybody was together. We'll get back to that, and I think you're well positioned to do that. And again, just my opinion, keep doing the very practical things to help these young people, and that also, I think, inspires supporters, because they know their dollars go to something tangible to help these kids develop.
Well, thanks for sitting down with us, Gil. You're just such an important part of our shop, and we love seeing you come in and appreciate all that you bring to our mission and to our kids.
Thank you. It's an honor to help out.
The Nest is so grateful for supporters like Gil. Okay, everyone, we are getting closer to the official start of our celebration tonight, and the excitement is certainly building here at Plattwood Park. For our last pre-show performance, Catherine shares her wonderful music talents with us once again. Here she is singing a song entitled "Accidentally Fell in Love."
Hi, I'm Catherine Molly, and this is a song I wrote called Accidentally Fell in Love. I felt so shattered, was falling apart at the seams. Then you came along to my ruins into a masterpiece. Can't help but wonder, where have you been all these years? Like a sweet summer breeze, my missing puzzle piece. I can't feel the smile or explain. One look at your eyes, and I'm falling under your spell. Look at me, you got me accidentally falling in love. Suddenly I feel like I'm good enough. It's like a light went up, and now I can't stop, 'cause I accidentally fell in love. Could've asked me yesterday when I said you were crazy, but I took one look at you and suddenly my sky turned blue. Is it the way you smile or that look in your eyes? It's giving me a million butterflies. I must be dreaming, is this real life? You got me singing like, oh, I look at me. You got me accidentally falling in love. Suddenly I feel like I'm good enough. It's like a light went up, and now I can't stop, 'cause I accidentally fell in love. It's not my fault that I ran into you. I didn't try to catch your eye. And it's not my fault that you're so cute. You caught me by surprise. And I didn't mean to fall for you. Didn't mean for you to fall for me too. Look at you, I got you accidentally falling in love. Look at me, you got me accidentally falling in love. Suddenly I feel like I'm good enough. It's like a light went up, and now I can't stop, 'cause I accidentally, oh, look at me.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second annual Water Lantern Festival here at Plattwood Park in Deep River. Now, Mother Nature cooperated with us. It's an incredible night, and soon you'll see this pond just glowing and filled with special lanterns. I'm Sarah Cody. I'm a reporter and anchor for News 8. I'm also a Tri-Town resident and also a local mom, and I'm so delighted to be here supporting this cause and this wonderful place, the Nest. Now, for 20 years, I've been sharing stories about interesting places and inspiring people all throughout the state. And I found both at the Nest when I visited Deep River for a story on the coffee house in 2019. As you know, the Nest and its umbrella agency, A Little Compassion, have a wonderful mission of providing employment and social opportunities for young adults with autism and intellectual and developmental disabilities. The opportunity to learn to work in an environment that fosters growth is something the majority of young adults with disabilities never have. Many face daunting barriers in finding and keeping meaningful work, as well as in becoming active members of their communities. Now, the Nest, take it from me, it's warm, it's engaging, and for the young adults who work there, it's both a step to greater independence and a soft place to land, actually a nest. And it's particularly critical in these challenging times for the community to come together to keep the Nest and its wonderful mission alive. So tonight's Water Lantern Festival is really more than a fundraiser. It's an uplifting community event that both celebrates the lives of those who are dearest to us and furthers understanding and inclusion of young adults with disabilities. During this evening's live-streamed event, hundreds of water lanterns inscribed with personal greetings and memories will be launched onto this pond at beautiful Plattwood Park. And this is how the evening is going to run. We'll be launching more than 300 lanterns in groups of 30, and between each groups, we'll have the following mix of entertainment and interviews. You'll hear local teens from the Nest community showcasing their talents, and really it's so important that the community is able to see the abilities of these young adults rather than focusing on their challenges due to autism, intellectual developmental disability, or neurodiversity. Their talents are such a gift to the community, as you're going to see. And we'll also have interviews with members of the Nest community, including sponsors, board members, employees, supporters, and parents of some of the young adults who are employed at the Nest. I hope everyone has their watch party bags ready to enjoy the night. And together we will show what compassion, kindness, and inclusion look like. Now, I would like to welcome our fearless leader, Jane Moen. She is the founder and executive director of A Little Compassion. Jane has wanted to make a difference in the lives of people with disabilities since she was a very young girl, growing up in a family that knew disability well. Her dad was a double amputee who worked as a school teacher, and from him she learned persistence through struggle, the importance of staying strong and seeing ability and not disability in whoever you meet. And the Nest Coffee House is her dream come true. Jane is joining me now to say hello. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And welcome, everyone, to Water Lantern 2020 COVID style live stream from beautiful Plattwood Park in Deep River. This evening is very special for those who have helped to create the Nest Coffee House and A Little Compassion over the past 3 years. Our mission to change the lives of young adults with disabilities in our community is thriving, despite all the current challenges. Tonight, I'm thrilled to see that so many have joined us to create handmade lanterns that will inspire us all. I'm especially thankful to those in our community whose compassion came to life when they purchased water lanterns and trusted us to pass them on to others in our community to ensure that this evening was inclusive, diverse, and impactful. With their generosity, we were able to provide over 100 lanterns to some special students from Essex, Chester, and Deep River schools, residents of Kirtland Commons, individuals living in 5 of the Bryan houses in the Tri-Town area, and numerous other deserving individuals. During these tough times, compassion and kindness indeed lights the way, and we thank those of you who made that possible for us to include so many from our community in Water Lantern 2020. Before I turn things back over to Sarah Cody from WTNH News 8 as our host and master of ceremonies for tonight, I need to thank her. Thank her for jumping in without hesitation to be here tonight with us. Sarah, your dedication and your support is a gift, and it's one that we are very grateful for. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Sarah to kick off Water Lantern Celebration 2020.
I'm really so delighted to be here. Thank you for having me. And I was able to go to Deep River and visit the Nest for a Connecticut family story I did for News 8 back in 2019. Take a look.
The Java is hot, the ice cream is fresh, and the service comes with a smile.
I enjoy being busy. I enjoy having time go by.
Welcome to this new coffee shop employing those with disabilities.
A coffee shop is a place where people come to gather, and it's a very social place.
So it just made sense. Founder Jane Moen named this warm, creative place The Nest, inspired by her daughter.
She created a nest for herself whenever she needed a safe place. And I love that mama birds also push them out and send them on to other things.
When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I struggled a lot after my diagnosis.
Kaylee, who is on the autism spectrum, bounced around 6 different special education schools, becoming anxious and depressed.
I only ever saw other people struggling and not knowing what they were going to do with their future. I never, ever met an adult who got through it.
Now she's a shift supervisor, answering questions, giving demonstrations.
So I think kind of maybe being that person to a few people could be important.
This is a great opportunity for them, and it's a great opportunity for me.
Stephen Little donated funds to start this nonprofit, which also hosts gatherings for young adults, especially those with special needs.
We have things like trivia night and game night and anime night and documentary night.
It's all a mission to change the public's perception, to show abilities,
I like to meet new people,
skills, and bright futures.
They're really talented kids, and they're smart, and they've got a lot to offer.
It's okay to go public about. It's not really a big deal, and I hope it teaches people some patience. And I hope it gives some young people some confidence.
Stop by the Nest on Saturday, June 8th to celebrate the coffee shop's grand opening, featuring good food and fun activities. With Connecticut Family's Sarah Cody, News 8. Now it's finally time to start the launches. This is very, very exciting. It will be the first of 12 launches of close to 400 lanterns being launched tonight. Now all are hand decorated by community members. They are incredible. You know, try to see them as up close as you can, and they'll be lighting the way for people of all abilities. I'm going to send you down to the volunteers on the beach to get a look. And I'm going to leave you with one fun fact here about the night. More than 50 volunteers helped to bring this celebration to life this year.
Hello, everyone. If you missed our pre-show, I'm Kristen Olson, and I'm the Vice Chair of A Little Compassion's Board of Directors. Now, it should be no surprise that the young adults from the Nest community have amazing talents, and we're so happy to have the opportunity to showcase some of these talented young adults as part of our programming tonight. When we look to the future, we see a more vibrant, caring, creative, and inclusive world because these and so many other young adults have special gifts to share and hearts as big as the moon. We thank them for lending their time and talents to Water Lantern Celebration 2020. To kick off our performances tonight, I'm pleased to introduce Sophie Spanner. Sophie is an 18-year-old singer-songwriter from Deep River who also works at the Nest. She's been writing music since she was 13, and she plays the ukulele as well as numerous other musical instruments. Now, music is not her only talent. She also loves writing stories and making art. Tonight, Sophie will be singing a song she wrote entitled Square Pegged Girls. It's a song about finding your way, being different, and being okay.
There's a girl who goes to my school. I think she sees ghosts, but I can't really tell, so I told her she looked really cool. She ignored me, so I said it again. She turned and looked right at me. Said, I can see you, can you see me? Which was weird, but I went with it. And now we're best friends. There's this girl in the back of my class. Her hair is black, and she sticks it all back, and she wears these boots with a heel, which would hurt my feet, but I guess she can't feel it, and she talks to herself sometimes, stuck in a circle in her mind, and I always want to talk to her, but I don't. Square peg girls, they think you're scary, but you're just unordinary. Square peg girls, you like movies with weird endings. Square peg girls, you like the beach when it's cold outside. Square peg girls, I think you're awesome, so please don't hide from me. There's a girl who lives down the street. She wears cool shirts and she doesn't eat meat, and she plays the drums in a band. I'm not sure what kind, but I'm sure it's a good band, and she rides her bike with me to the grocery store, through the library, and she works after school, stocking shelves at the cemetery. There's a girl, I don't know her name. She likes comedy and thinks everyone's insane, and she mostly listens to punk, but sometimes jazz and sometimes funk, and she goes to the movies each week, or at least she tries to, but sometimes it's tough, and she never ever wears jeans. I don't know what that's about. Square peg girls, they think you're scary, but you're just unordinary. Square peg girls, you like movies with weird endings. Square peg girls, you like the beach when it's cold outside. Square peg girls, I think you're awesome, so please don't hide from me. There's this girl who lives next door. She looks like you, I don't know a lot more, except she brushes her teeth twice a day, or at least I assume so, but it might not be true. And she's got a purple backpack. It used to close, but then the zipper snapped, and she's got a cute little dog, which is cool, I guess. Square peg girls, they think you're scary, but you're just unordinary. Square peg girls, you like movies with weird endings. Square peg girls, you like the beach when it's cold outside. Square peg girls, I think you're awesome, so please don't hide from me, from me, from me, from me, from me, from me. I think you're awesome, so please don't hide from me.
I know I'm going to be singing that song in my head. It was so great. Sophie, thank you so much for sharing your talents. Now it's time for Lantern Launch 2. Let's head down to the beach to see our dedicated volunteers. And as we get this batch of lanterns prepared to launch, I just want to tell you that almost 60 sponsors from the community have supported this incredible event.
Our next talented Nest team member is Emma Finelli. When Emma joined us at the Nest, she was immediately admired for her strength and persistence. She has 2 dogs, Callie and Leela, who always make life exciting. Emma has many talents, and tonight she will be demonstrating her bleach art for us.
Hi, my name is Emma Finelli, and I am going to be making a bleach design on a cloth napkin. And I am going to cut out this picture of a hummingbird on this freezer paper. And then you put the freezer paper down, glossy side down, and trace it. And then I cut it out. And this is your stencil. And now I'm going to iron this right on the napkin with the glossy side down. Here I have a bottle of 50-50 solution of bleach and water. And now I'm going to spray the inside of this hummingbird. now I am going to put it in water to rinse off the bleach. And now you peel off the paper. And here is the picture of the hummingbird.
Emma, your art is so cool. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Now, it's gotten really chilly here at Plattwood Park. The season is changing, but it is time for launch number 3, and we're going to send it down to our dedicated volunteers on the beach. And as they prepare to launch the newest creation, I just want to tell you that the nest has provided employment or work experience for 35 young adults since opening in June of 2019.
Rubber ducky knows how to treat me right. On those sunny afternoons we go out to play. Carry rubber ducky in my pocket, he's light.
There's just something about the sight of those glowing lanterns. They're really moving tonight, and it's such a special experience here at the park. Now, I want to tell you that community support is vital to the continued success of A Little Compassion and the Nest. And so as we move through our program, I will be introducing interviews with a cross-section of people who have helped to create and sustain this vibrant enterprise. Now, Charlene is a Water Lantern co-chair, Nest supporter, and parent of Emma, the artist you just saw doing her bleach art. Charlene also works at the Yale Child Study Center for Emotional Intelligence. Let's listen in to Emma and Charlene share their experience with the Nest and ALC.
Hi everybody, I'm sitting here with Emma Finelli and her mom Charlene Voice.
both supporters of the Nest, and Emma actually works at the Nest as one of our baristas. Really excited to talk with them tonight. So welcome, Charlene and Emma. I know you have an interesting story about how your family became connected with the Nest to begin with. Can you tell us about how you connected up with the Nest, Charlene?
Sure. Well, I had heard about the Nest after seeing a newspaper article, but what really sort of struck us was we came to the Nest grand opening a little more than a year ago, and I just fell in love with the town, and I fell in love with the Nest, and there happened to be an open house at a house just down the street, and I took a leap of faith and decided we were going to pick up our belongings and move to Deep River.
That's fabulous. Charlene, what roles do you play with A Little Compassion and the Nest now that you've been a part of our community?
For some time, I've been on the Gatherings Committee, which is the committee that plans for these events, now online, and have recently transitioned to co-chair the committee that is planning for the Water Lantern celebration.
Fabulous. And Emma, what do you do at the Nest?
I check out customers and clean the bathrooms and sanitize stuff.
Emma, this one's for you too, because I know you have a lot of creative things that you do outside of the Nest, and I mean creative, like lots of different creative things at the Nest. Can you tell us about some of the projects you've been working on at home?
Making and decorating my space, and I've been doing really art and t-shirts.
Anything else that you do?
And sewing.
And you've sewn a lot of masks for the Nest, I know that. Would either of you like to talk about the impact that being part of the Nest has had on your family? I know you said you took a leap of faith. How has that turned out for you?
I couldn't be happier with the move that we took. I think that for a lot of young adults with disabilities, life can be challenging and isolating. And both at the Nest and in our newly adopted community of Deep River, we have found a welcoming community, and I just feel like we have a home now.
Is there anything else that you'd like the community to know about the Nest, A Little Compassion, or your family? What else have I not asked you?
I think the thing that I would add to our comments is that the Nest has an open door, and there are a lot of people in the community who are not yet connected who could really benefit from the connections that they can make with the Nest. So if you're out there and you need a friend, or you need something to do, or you need a good cup of coffee, I know it sounds a little bit like an ad, but really the Nest is the place to go.
Thanks for talking with us this afternoon. We're excited about the Water Lantern celebration. And Emma, you've been helping make all the birds for the Water Lantern celebration. You might have to show some of those off as well. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Another big shout out to Charlene for her dedication and hard work to make tonight's Water Lantern celebration such a huge success. Our next segment features Tim Bouchard. Tim has been with the Nest as an intern and now as an employee. He began taking self-defense at Middlesex Tong Soo Do Academy this summer, and he is very proud of his new skills and confidence built through hours of practice. Here's a demonstration of Tim's new skills.
Tim, that was so amazing. Thank you so much for inspiring us. Now, we all wish we'd worn our parkas. It's gotten really cold out here, but the glow of the lanterns is certainly keeping us warm. And it is already time for Launch 4. Let's head down to our dedicated volunteers on the beach. And in the meantime, I do want to share this fact with you. 6 young adults have moved on to other jobs since gaining confidence and skills at the nest. As the lanterns spread throughout the pond, it really symbolizes the support that is growing for the nest. It is such a beautiful sight. And now I'd like to introduce a very special member of the nest community. Steve Little spent his entire career in the corporate world. He'd always wanted to be involved with helping young people, especially those with limited opportunities to succeed. So when Steve learned about the newly forming nonprofit, he felt so connected with the mission to support young adults with disabilities that he signed on as ALC's angel donor, and the nonprofit A Little Compassion now bears his name. Take a look.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today and tuning into our Water Lantern celebration. My name's Max. I'm a board member with A Little Compassion, and I am here with ALC's namesake and angel donor, Steve Little. Welcome, Steve. We are very excited to have you today and talk with you and just hear more about your involvement with ALC.
Okay, I'd love to do it.
All right. So what is it about the Nest and ALC's mission that resonates the most with you?
I think it's the mission of helping young people get started in life, especially those that have some difficulties, was something I've sort of always been interested in, sort of exploring and ways in which I could help, and sort of got involved in this through Jane's sister Carol. I worked with Carol at ITT Corporation, and then she went to Xerox. I worked with her at Xerox and have known her for over 10 years. And we often talked about, sort of what I would do when I retired. And I had expressed some interest in this, and then she told me one day that she and her sister Jane Moen had this idea about opening a coffee shop and helping people with on the autism spectrum, and would I be interested in sort of participating? So I looked into it and spent some time with Jane. Came for a visit to Deep River. We met some of the original focus group initial board members, and I sort of fell in love with the idea.
Very cool. Yeah, they have a great mission and just a great reason for being able to support everyone in the community. So,
right.
Can you share any experiences that you've had with the Nest when you saw and felt that mission in action?
Well, I think there's a number of ways. One is even before we opened the Nest, I had the opportunity of helping in the actual build out of the facility. And what was sort of interesting is the number of people that heard about our mission and wanted to be involved in helping. And the number of volunteers was amazing that we had, with people either doing something as simple as painting. We had people make chairs and tables, and we painted the tree in the gatherings room. And even before we got started, it was amazing the community and how well they just embraced the idea of what we wanted to do and what we were doing.
So the Nest has numerous programs that support young adults with a wide range of abilities. So what do you see as the most important aspects of some of our Nest programs?
Well, I think that ALC is a Little Compassion, which is sort of our umbrella organization. And within ALC, so that's the actual nonprofit itself. And under ALC, we have a number of programs that we want to have, all supporting the mission of helping young people with some level of disability. And the Nest is one of those programs. So the hiring the employees or the Nest, helping them out in terms of a work environment. We also have the gatherings, which is a sort of a gatherings place. It's a place for young people in groups to do a number of things together that otherwise they wouldn't have had an opportunity probably to be with people themselves, and they feel more comfortable in the environments we've tried to create for them, and actually had a number of situations where people sort of blossomed and opened up, and we have a number of those that go on a weekly basis. Once we get through the whole COVID thing and things sort of settle down, I think we can look at maybe potentially even expanding our mission, because I think.
Okay, I have a random question here for you. So the Nest obviously is a coffee shop, but they have lots of treats and food items and pastries and desserts. I was wondering if you could share, what is your favorite item from the store?
Soft serve ice cream.
I think I could have answered that one for you. I knew that one.
Jane's always giving me a hard time because I'm always sneaking behind the counter and filling up a cup, and she gives me a hard time. But there you are, still another cup of ice cream.
It's wonderful. So, final question here: is there anything else about the Nest or Little Compassion and your experiences with either one that you would like to share?
I think one of the things that I think that when we are in a difficult time like COVID, what's great is people coming together to help each other. And I think that whether it's with the Nest or not, but the number of volunteers that we've had to help us out and provide assistance or ideas for us has been really incredible. And I think it's I think it's human nature. We all come together at difficult times, and I think that especially for helping young people, that we've all have a special place in our heart for them. And I think that it's really shown through over the last few months in terms of what we've tried to do and the help that we've gotten, and the intent is for us to continue into the future and to continue to help people as best we can.
That's great. It's wonderful. Well, thank you for taking time today and answering these questions.
Hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It's great to hear from Steve. He really is such a lovely person. Believe it or not, it's time for Launch 5. We are really moving along here, and I'm going to send it now down to the beach to see our dedicated volunteers. I do want to tell you, though, that the nest is known for its legendary giant cookies. Now I'm hungry. 2,400 have been sold since the shop's opening, along with more than 1,600 pieces of its famous crumb cake.
Our next segment features a very powerful short film. Jillian Noyes is an award-winning filmmaker, editor, and writer whose passion lies in crafting stories about oft-marginalized communities. A lifelong resident of Old Saybrook, she spends much of her free time volunteering with the Nest and participating in our young adult gatherings. Jillian's short film Inside Voice uses experimental film techniques to construct an autobiographical snapshot of life on the autism spectrum. Kaleidoscopic imagery transforms mundane social situations into overwhelming and oppressive experiences, all while the titular voice relays its truth to the audience. Inside Voice is meant to be experienced in silence.
That was really so moving. Jillian, thank you for sharing your work with us. Now I'm excited to announce that we are halfway there. We are at Launch 6, and we're going to head down to the beach at the pond at Plattwood Park and take a look at what our volunteers are doing. And just before I hand it over to them, I am going to tell you that the Nest has a wonderful program in which customers can purchase Compassion coffees to give to deserving community members. Almost 400 have been purchased so far.
Tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Water Lantern 2020's Northern Lights sponsor, Yale Spark, led by Dr. Roger Joe. Dr. Joe is a psychiatrist and researcher at Yale Child Study Clinic. His work for the past 20 years has focused on autism across the lifespan. He founded Community Autism Socials at Yale, or CASI, in 2014, providing fee-free social, recreational, educational, and support for American autism communities. The Nest has collaborated with CASI Spark to bring some very creative gatherings right here to Deep River. Dr. Joe is also the principal investigator for Spark at Yale. Spark is the largest genetic study of autism ever, and Yale is one of the dozens of participating autism research centers across the United States. In this next interview, Dr. Joe sat down with me to talk about Spark. Please note that Dr. Joe's full video can be viewed on our website after the show.
We're sitting here this morning with Dr. Roger Joe from Yale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Joe is a psychiatrist and a researcher at Yale Child Study Clinic, and you've been there for the past 20 years.
Yeah, I've been at Yale for, since 2004.
2004.
So I started as an intern.
As an intern? That's
Yeah.
amazing. And now I know you're also the lead investigator for Spark at Yale, and you're this year's Northern Lights sponsor for our Water Lantern celebration, so thank you for being our primary
pleasure.
sponsor.
My pleasure.
Tell us more about Spark at Yale and how folks can be connected.
Spark has been around for several years, so already the study has had a lot of momentum across the United States, and people who are on the spectrum and their family members participating. So tens of thousands of people have already participated across the United States. It is primarily, at least at this point, the focus is the saliva samples, which is used for genetics part of the study. But that's not all that Spark is. It's actually when you join, when you enter a community of researchers, and families and other folks who are on the spectrum, and you sort of become involved in the research process. So it's not so much of a one and done type of ordeal, unless you want it to be. But there's continued invitation, engagement in the projects or the evolving or the current projects that are existing. So, folks who are in the community, can really participate in research, but also they have an influence, on how the research is, what kind of research is done, and the answers that are asked, and certainly the some of the questions that are thought to be important. So that was sort of a break from the old model, whereas you had folks who were sort of in the ivory tower trying to come up with questions. Then you have people in the community, and this really tries to bridge the gap. So I think one of the most exciting things is that people in the community actually can shape the research and the future of the research. That's I think one of the more exciting things about it. Also with genetics, and I should really emphasize that Spark is not a study that's looking for a cure for autism in any way, shape, or form. And I'd like to emphasize that because that's one of the common misconceptions that I hear. It's also not looking for testing, for genetic tests to diagnose. So,
Is there anything I didn't ask you or that you'd like to add about Spark and your collaboration with us before we have to go?
Spark is, there's a lot to Spark, certainly much more than that we could actually fit in an interview like this. But what we would like to offer is webinars or workshops, for your community, to help them learn more about it and see if it makes sense for them to join or sign up. Join us.
Yeah, so thank you again for joining us, and we'll be seeing you when you drop off all those lanterns.
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Thanks, Jane.
Take care. Yep.
Thanks to Dr. Joe for his incredibly important work. Take a look at this. It is such a gorgeous site here at Plattwood Park, and we are ready for launch number 7. Let's send it down to the beach. And I just want to share with you that when COVID-19 hit, the Nest team got creative and saw a need. More than 1,000 face masks have been made and distributed by the employees and supporters since the spring. Now they're all made with sensory-friendly fabric and elastic, and 250 masks have been given free to individuals in need.
The pond here tonight is so movingly beautiful. As we prepare for our next launch, we have a wonderful musical segment to share with you next. Chris Biase is a lead and job coach at the Nest Coffee House, where his kind heart and giving spirit, along with his wonderful sense of humor, is a gift to all who enter the shop. Tonight, Chris will be playing a song entitled Chris's Favorite.
Hey fellow nesters, my name is Chris and I'm in East Haddam, and I am a huge fan of the Nest because I think it has a overwhelming spirit of inclusivity, and I think that makes one feel more willing to participate and express themselves truly. And today I'm going to share with you a fiddle tune called, well, it has two titles, but one of them is Chris's Favorite, coincidentally. And it was written by one of my favorite Scottish fiddle players, Hanneke Castle, and so I learned it from her. She's also a really great tune writer, so I'll try and do my best to play her tune.
going 5.
We were just dancing to Chris's wonderful music to stay warm out here in Plattwood Park. Chris, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now it's time for my favorite launch of the night. It is launch 8. Let's head down to the beach and see what our volunteers are up to. You know, ice cream and caffeinated drinks are big sellers at the Nest. More than 9,100 ice creams and 24,000 drinks have gone out the door.
His yellow hue really brightens up my day. Rubber ducky knows how to treat me right. On those sunny afternoons we go out to play. Carry rubber ducky in my pocket, he is light.
How about some poetry next? Grayson Young is a poet and writer from Connecticut. Grayson joined the Nest family after attending one of the Nest's open mic nights, where she read some of her powerful poetry about finding herself and reclaiming her identity. Let's join Grayson now as she reads one of her poems.
Hi, my name is Grayson. I really love and appreciate the Nest because I know that whether the events are held online or in person, they'll always have this welcoming atmosphere where everyone can be themselves, and I always know that I'll get to meet amazing people with cool talents and interesting things to say. So I'm extra excited to read a poem today for you guys, and I hope everyone likes it. This is called Codename Pluto. I grew up in a broken house. Not the kind where the walls had scars and bottles like bodies littered the floor. The kind where there was no evidence marking battles past. It looked perfect. Dollhouse interior, a family that smiled for pictures, unknown were the twisted fingers puppeteering behind the curtain. The harm of being a perfect host. Cultivated images that nobody cared to inspect further. There's a reason there aren't food wrappers in the trash. Why the bed cover has no creases. Real fruit rots, which is why ours didn't. Smooth plastic flowers for porcelain faces. I always wished I had space. I wanted to be free and breathe among the stars, even for a fleeting moment, even if it killed me. So now that my food can expire, now that the bed sheets are crumpled on one side, I am living worlds away. I am not breathing planetary air. I am the stardust. I have a home now. A home much different than that house. It's a place I have to code name, otherwise it's not quite safe. I'm sad to still hide. But there is no sadness in the fact that sleeping on floors is now only reserved for slumber parties, and hunger is only before a lunch break. The reverb on industrial walls at work is so welcome because I never thought I'd have a job. Safety was always as distant as Pluto. So now that I'm well, I think I must be an astronaut to have come so far.
Hi, it's Jane from The Nest. You know, over a year ago, when we created the Nest Coffee House in June of 2019, our mission was to create a soft place to land for our young adults in our community and provide them with employment and social gatherings, as well as a place in the community where other folks could gather and have time to relax and be in an environment that was safe and welcoming to all. We believe that we have met that mission. We believe through COVID we have changed and we have worked hard to ensure that the Nest stays that soft place to land. We wanted you to hear from our employees on what they think is best about the Nest. So let's hear from them directly.
What I like about the Nest is how nice everyone is and how fun the work experience I'm having.
I love the inclusivity and compassion.
Just the positivity and caring.
My coworkers, I love them all. They're great, they're fun.
They're all very nice, very compassionate. Don't get mad if you mess something up.
I like working with individuals of all different types, and I'm so happy that I get to interact with all kinds of different and cool people.
I like working with all the different people at the Nest and also interacting with all the different people that come in.
I really enjoy working with my coworkers, interacting with customers. I also really enjoy washing the dishes.
Taking customers' orders.
I do like grinding the coffee beans, and I do like doing the cash register.
I like the food and the drinks, and especially the ice cream.
I like helping customers and making drinks.
What I like about working at the Nest is my coworkers learning how to run the espresso machine, the point of sale system, and learning how to do sanitizing.
Favorite thing about the Nest is just the overall mission and watching my baristas actually blossom under what we do here.
My favorite part about working at the Nest is being around all the young adults, learning all these different tasks and how they improve over time, and then also how the positive atmosphere and encouragement between the employees helps people grow.
Thank you so much for being part of the program. We really appreciate you watching. And now it's time for Launch 9. Let's head down to the beach. And we want to tell you that one of the most popular features of the Nest is its regular social gatherings for young adults. Everything from paint and anime nights to video and board games and acoustic music. Since COVID, gatherings have been moved online. is so beautiful out here, such a special sight. And now we want to introduce you to Mary Jo Helchowski. She is an ALC board member, co-chair of the Gatherings Committee, and active with all things creative at the Nest. Mary Jo graduated from the Lime Academy of Fine Arts in 2014 with a BFA in illustration. Though an artist by trade, Mary Jo has quite a bit of personal experience when it comes to fitting in, finding acceptance, and helping others do the same. No one has ever sat alone at a lunch table on Mary Jo's watch. Mary Jo is currently the youngest board member, but she is confident she brings something new and quirky to the table and gives a voice to the population ALC serves for the simple reason that she is a young adult who needs a soft place to land.
Good afternoon, Mary Jo.
Hi, Jane.
It is so great to be with you this afternoon. Mary Jo has been on our board from the very beginning and is an all-around amazing young adult that I'm so happy that you all will be able to meet tonight. You've been part of the Nest from the very beginning.
Yes.
Do you remember how you got involved?
Yeah, it was kind of, Jane called me because she wanted a book I had made. I had written a book for my senior thesis project in art school, and when I was over, she said, "Hey, I gotta talk to you about something." And I was like, oh man, what'd she have to talk to me about? And she said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, we're calling it the Nest, and it's for people with special needs and challenges, and would you like to help?" And I said, "Heck yeah, I'd like to help." And here we are.
You were all in.
Yes.
Can you tell us how the mission resonates with you and what it's like to be a representative of young adults your age?
The mission resonates with me personally because I've struggled to make friends, and I've always had sort of anxiety, depression issues, and I think that had I had the Nest when I was in high school and looking for something to do and looking for friends, I think it would have been much easier and I would have had a better time. So I don't want anybody to feel as crummy as I felt when I was younger. So I think that that's kind of where I'm at. I don't want anybody to feel that way. So I'm doing all I can to make sure that nobody feels that way ever again, because it stinks.
We love having you. Tell everybody a little bit more about Nest Gatherings, their purpose, and how they've kind of evolved over time.
Yeah, so gatherings are kind of, there's not really another way to describe them. They're gatherings of people that come together and do fun things. And the things that we do are sort of a little bit different from sort of the typical, like, you know, bar scene. Like we're like, no alcohol, no loud music, just like kind of a chill place to be and meet people who are kind of share your interests. So we've done lots of stuff. We've done like movie and film nights. We do trivia. We have an anime night. We've done drawing and coloring. We've done a lot of things. And we're always looking for kind of suggestions to see if we can kind of grab more people and get more people involved, because a lot of people, it's really important to them that they have sort of this group that they can go to that they know is going to be a good time and be accepting toward them. So
I know there's a new gathering coming up called Express Your
Stress.
Yes. Tell us about that. How did that come to be?
Your stress. So what wound up happening with some of our COVID gatherings over Zoom was that they sort of veered off from the topic they were sort of supposed to be on, and we just kind of wound up talking about what was challenging for us and what we were struggling with and things that we wanted advice on, or even just to like vent to somebody who would listen. So we thought it would be a good idea to have a gathering that was just centered on that, with a social worker present who could kind of help you through what you needed to work out, and just have a place where people could feel listened to, because I think that that's a big problem, especially right now during COVID, is people you can't go out and interact with people, and it's tough because sometimes you need to be able to say like, oh man, I had such a hard day, or like, oh, this great thing happened, and like, oh, you should be so happy. And I think that you kind of need to share those feelings. And I think that it'll make our other gatherings sort of stay more on topic for the people that are really interested in whatever's going on, so that we can sort of better serve that community as well. So if we give people a place to vent, it'll kind of open up space for us to do other stuff.
Makes sense. Okay, so to wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like people to know about the Nest and Little Compassion?
I think I want people to know that you're doing something important when you come to the Nest. You're giving people an opportunity who wouldn't otherwise have that opportunity. And it really is meaningful when you can wait that extra 2 minutes for your coffee, and you can, be patient with somebody while they're figuring out how to, grab your muffin the right way. And it really is meaningful, and you're making a difference when you come in.
Thank you, Mary Jo. You make a big difference as well.
Thank you so much, Mary Jo. And guess what? It's time for Launch 10. Let's head down to the beach to our dedicated volunteers. And during the pandemic, all Nest staff members have buttons they wear on their aprons that show their smiling faces while they're wearing a mask.
What a beautiful night we're having here at Plattwood Park. Our last performer tonight is Eric Johnson. Eric is a barista at the Nest Coffee House, where he takes great pride in knowing customers' names, their favorite drinks, and maybe even their birthdays. He plays banjo, piano, and guitar, and he sings as well. If you've been fortunate enough to come to the Nest while Eric is working, you will have likely enjoyed an engaging conversation with him. Tonight he's going to be singing and playing the guitar for us. His song is entitled Goodbye Says It All, but please don't leave. We still have 2 more launches and some more programming.
Hello, my name is Eric Johnson, and this is a song called Goodbye Says It All. It's by a band called Black Hawk. It's another back door sleeping waiting midnight. Quiet as a black trouble after life living up and down the line. But Thank you. See ya.
Such talent, Eric, thank you. And we are at launch 11, gonna send it down to my friends on the beach. And I just want to tell you that each month an employee rock star is featured in the Nest online newsletter to highlight the unique and amazing young adults who work at the shop. You can sign up on the Nest website to receive the latest news. A few moments ago, you saw Eric sing and play his guitar. Well, his parents, Carol and Stuart Johnson, are valued supporters of the Nest. They are incredible parents and dedicated advocates, always striving to support Eric as he grows. They join us now to talk about Eric's journey with the Nest.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
I'm so glad to have you here today. I'm sitting here with Stuart and Carol Johnson, and they have a son named Eric, who has been with us at the Nest for over a year now, and I'm really glad you could be with us this afternoon.
We're glad to be here.
Could you just tell us how you first learned about the Nest?
Well, I first learned about the Nest from Eric's social skills teacher. His coach told me that there was a wonderful person who had this brainchild of coming up with a employment opportunity for children with disabilities, young adults with disabilities, and she put me in touch with you, and we thought that it was just a terrific mission, and we thought it would be very worthwhile to get Eric involved.
Wonderful. Can you tell us about what Eric's experience have been as an intern and then becoming an employee of the Nest, and how that evolved for Eric?
Well, Eric first started about a year ago, as you said, as an intern. One of the first things that happened was Eric got to practice some life skills. He was working hard at the academy, learning how to interview for a job. So he came in and was able to practice those skills with you, and he interviewed, and you offered him a position there.
People love talking to Eric, and he loves talking to them, and that he's such a valuable asset at the Nest.
Well, that's one of the blessings or one of the changes we've seen with Eric is it's allowed him to step into some skills and develop his personality in ways that were unanticipated for us.
Right.
And seeing him step into that position, he's in control, he knows how to use it, he's effective at moving customers through, he's friendly, so it's really helped him sort of reach some potential in areas that we didn't know he had.
Let's talk about Eric's music.
The Nest started having these open mic nights, and he'd never played guitar in front of anybody before, and he'd never played on his own before. And so he's played on his own and with one other person at the open mic nights, and that's really been terrific for him. He gets to pick what songs he's going to play, and that's a very long process for him.
Right. He wants to get it right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's been so great.
Do you have any ways that you would recommend the community support the Nest during this time?
Well, I would say to the community that when you go in and buy a cup of coffee at the Nest, you're holding a lot more in your hands than a cup of coffee. And I think we all have an intrinsic desire to do more and to serve our communities, whether it's on a PTO, being a PTO member, or on a town council, or a volunteer firefighter. But oftentimes, as we all know, there's jobs and children and a lot of other things that come into play and prevent us from doing sort of the bigger things that our hearts desire. But with the Nest, it gives you an opportunity to come in and buy a cup of coffee or some tea or one of the other sundry items that are there. And you're doing all of that because that purchase is far-reaching into your community. And it supports not just the business, it supports the whole entire mission that the business is there for. Not just the people who are working there, but their families and the larger community. So what you may think is an incidental or a small thing is a really big way to support a really terrific mission. And so we hope that you'll take the initiative to come in, look around, meet the employees. If you're lucky, you'll meet Jane Moen, who's just as wonderful as you can imagine, and make that difference in your community. It's really a powerful thing. So go ahead.
I was going to say, and it's not just spending, the few dollars that you spend to buy coffee or to buy baked goods or sandwiches or, some of the gift items and that kind of thing. You're also providing the people there who are working there, like Eric, with an opportunity to, interact and to learn about how to,
Right.
work in a customer service environment. And so it's not just the support you're providing financially, it's the support to the employees who need the practice.
The
frankly.
practice. Well, is there anything else you'd like the community to know about the Nest and Little Compassion?
Well, I remember when we first heard about the Nest, I said to Carol, that's such a great idea, but if the coffee isn't good, it's just not going to make it. But thank goodness the coffee is really good.
And the ice cream. And the cookies.
Yes.
And the ice cream and the cookies.
Great too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon,
happy
and
to be
we're
here.
so proud that you're part of our Nest community. It means a lot.
Thank you, Jane.
We made it, guys. Let's head down to the beach to see our last launch of the gorgeous water lanterns. And I just want to tell you that with the help of the Dilger family, an annual award has been created in memory of their daughter, Alexandra, to recognize deserving young adults who have strived to overcome barriers to reach their goals.
them at an early age. All divided energy when I hit stage. I left it all behind to read a book.
Hello again. What an inspiring evening this has been. In only our second year, Water Lantern Celebration has drawn wonderful sponsor support, with almost 70 sponsors and hundreds of individuals helping us to raise more than $20,000 to support the young adults with disabilities and our community at the Nest. On behalf of tonight's organizers and volunteers, a huge thank you to our sponsors for joining together to support A Little Compassion during this challenging time. We hope everyone that tuned in takes note of our sponsors and visits their shops or businesses to thank them for their support. They all reached back to A Little Compassion in the Nest when we needed them the most. A special thank you to Dr. Joe from Yale Spark. They're this year's lead sponsor and great friends of the Nest. There are so many volunteers to thank tonight. They made it all possible. Over 50 individuals gave their time for everything from copying and collating to setting up the scene you see here tonight. I feel so thankful for the incredible gift of their time and their talents. I want to say a special thank you to Charlene Voice for being co-chair of tonight's event. She worked tirelessly to ensure it was a beautiful evening and the gathering that you've all been watching. I also want to thank our live stream team tonight. There's a group of 5 individuals who have pulled this all together from a technology standpoint, led by my wonderful husband, Luther. So thank you. Woohoo! Tonight, we all saw our community's young adults make our lives richer and fuller, and a life full of hope, even in these tough times. It's been a beautiful evening, and we're grateful beyond measure for the community's support. We want you to hear directly from our Nest employees now saying thank you to all of you for being here.
Thank you, everyone. This has truly been a beautiful and emotional evening. I am so glad that I was able to be a part of it. And a big thanks to everyone who made this heartwarming event happen. The Nest volunteers, board members, sponsors, employees, fans, and celebration participants made all the magic happen. The decorated lanterns were breathtaking and so impactful because they represent our entire community. Together, you showed the strength of community in lifting others up, seeing them for their strengths, and making inclusion matter. These are all part of the Nest mission, and they will continue to need your support. So please keep coming down to beautiful Deep River, downtown Deep River. Have some coffee, some ice cream, and that famous crumb cake that you heard about, all at the Nest. Check out the online shop by going to the website, and when you're able to, donate to help the Nest and the employees continue to thrive. Just a note now that this live stream will be posted in its entirety on the A Little Compassion and Nest websites. We will also post the entire full interviews with some of our supporters and sponsors. Please share and help us spread the word about this wonderful little nonprofit making a big difference right here in Connecticut. We'll leave you now with a final glimpse of the gorgeous lanterns at the pond at Plattwood Park. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Wow.